This is Texas News Now, sponsored by Germania Insurance.
Hi everyone, I'm Cynthia Izaguirre, and these are your headlines from North Texas. Thursday, a jury heard what prosecutors are calling the most critical evidence in the Tanner Horner murder trial. Inside the courtroom, never released video and audio from inside a delivery van detailing the final moments of 7-year-old Athena Strand's life. And we want to warn you, some of the details are difficult to hear, but they go to the heart of the state's case. Senior crime and justice reporter Rebecca Lopez was there.
Prosecutors say Tanner Horner was looking for an opportunity. They played a video from his delivery van dash camera. It shows him slowly driving through Athena's neighborhood the day before her kidnapping.
At certain times covered up the cameras.
Moments later, jurors watched and listened to a video from inside that same van the next day. Our legal expert watched that video with us.
It's a clear-cut case of premeditation, calculation, deviance, and murder.
The judge only allowed the video to be shown in court. It showed when Horner lured Athena to his truck and kidnapped her. He warns her, "Don't scream or I will hurt you."
She keeps asking him, "Where are we going?" Finally, she says, "Are you a kidnapper?"
Athena begins to cry when Horner asks her to take off her shirt and tells him, "My mom says you can't do that to me." Athena tells him to stop and says, "No, no, I want my mama, I want my mama." The recording is more than an hour long, with Athena crying, gasping for air, and in pain.
You could actually hear what we think might be the point where he began to strangle her.
Inside the courtroom, jurors wiped away tears, some openly sobbing. Athena's parents didn't watch the video, but earlier her father took the stand.
It made me feel horrible, like I should have done something.
After Horner disposed of Athena's body, he stops to clean up the van. Then he is back on camera, smoking a cigarette, making phone calls like nothing happened. And the next day drives back to Athena's neighborhood, where people are searching for her.
No, that's the only way out. I have more packages to deliver.
Prosecutors say this video shows how uncaring Horner is while going on with his life. And for this jury, it may be the evidence that sends him to death row. In Fort Worth, I'm Rebecca Lopez.
Thursday marks 6 months as a 38-year-old DACA recipient was taken into ICE custody in Arlington. Yakub Irabihandre is a community photojournalist and activist. He was also a safety specialist at American Airlines. Yakub was detained one day after posting on social media advocating for another detainee. Outside the Dallas ICE detention facility, Yakub's supporters held a rally for his release.
It's not easy when you lost 6 months of time that you can never get back. All that it's heavy. Those places inside, they're designed to break your spirit and break your soul. And on top of that, you just got the news that his mother was diagnosed with cancer.
Yakub has a clean record, but the government says his DACA status was terminated due to his social media posts described as glorifying terrorism. A North Texas native played a key role in bringing the astronauts home safely after they re-entered Earth's atmosphere last Friday. Plano's own Daniel Olson was part of the team that recovered the Orion capsule after it splashed down off the coast of San Diego. Olson graduated from Plano East High School 6 years ago and is now a Navy aviation electrician. He was part of the helicopter squadron that airlifted the astronauts to the USS John Murtha. Olson says being part of Artemis II is one of his proudest accomplishments. We now know how much it'll cost to keep the Dallas Cowboys in Arlington for the next 30 years. Brittany Costello has been speaking with all sides to break down how taxpayers factor into the proposed deal.
The Dallas Cowboys are a huge attraction for the city of Arlington.
We've built and done some amazing things. It's great for our economy.
That's why Councilman Bowie Hogg says the city is considering an extension that would keep the team inside AT&T Stadium until 2055. But there is a catch. One attorney, Warren Norrid, says he is not okay with.
Well, I'm in favor of the Cowboys. I want them to win. I want them to go play. I want them to make a lot of money in Arlington. that doesn't mean I want to give them my money.
According to a resolution before Arlington City Council, the deal will cost taxpayers more than $270 million. With a commitment, the Cowboys will also invest $750 million in maintenance, operations, and improvements to the complex. Arlington Mayor Jim Ross says it will go toward things like security and pedestrian safety.
We have the best stadium in the world, and we want to make sure we remain the best stadium in the world.
Mayor Ross says the money will come from a half-cent sales tax voters approved of in 2004. That's when the city offered $325 million to help build the stadium. Mayor Ross says this new deal does not have to go to voters.
Here's the reality. We've already been approved by the voters.
Hogg says it's not a done deal yet.
I think everyone says yes to the Cowboys. I think, as I said earlier, it's how we get to that yes, whether it's a council vote or a citizen vote.
But it's a no for Attorney Norrid.
This is just wrong.
Who says if this goes through on Tuesday, the city will have to answer for it in court.
It was not sold on, hey, pass this and we're going to have an unending half-cent sales tax for the rest of your natural life.
We reached out to the Cowboys about this proposal. A spokesperson sent a statement saying in part, the proposed extension is a reflection of our continued trust, collaboration, and proactive approach to the future. In Arlington, I'm Brittany Costello.
It was a morning full of heart in downtown Dallas as DPD officers laced up for the 2026 Special Olympics Torch Run. The event at Clyde Warren Park benefits athletes with intellectual disabilities. Hundreds of runners and walkers hit the course after an opening ceremony led by Chief Daniel Como. He says participating in events like this is vital to building trust.
The community needs to know that we're a part of the community. We're not just here to put bad people in jail. We're here to interact with good people also and let them know that we love this community and we want to be a true part of it.
The police department raised more than $65,000. Every cent goes to Special Olympic athletes here in DFW. Well, it's hard enough to win one state title in Texas, but one high school has now managed to win 5 of them. And the Celina High School girls soccer team just won another one. Richard Solomon just spoke to athletes and coaches in Bobcat Nation about the secret to their nonstop victory.
In a state where football dominates, here at Celina ISD, a new legacy is rising. These two are etching their names in the history books. Junior Taylor McMillan.
It was crazy. I was so nervous. I think I almost passed out.
And senior Emmy Norman.
I think it really ended my career as a soccer player on the best note possible.
Are a part of the girls' soccer team here at Celina High School. And last week, they made history. Becoming the first girls' soccer team in the state of Texas to win 5 state championships in a row.
Not much people can say they won a state championship in high school, and can't take that for granted.
Last Thursday, the team sealed it with a 2-1 win, finishing the season where they lost only 1 game. For Norman,
obviously we're competitive.
It's more bragging rights against her 2 older sisters who also played here at the high school.
I definitely wanted to follow in their footsteps and prove that just because I'm the last Norman doesn't mean I'm not the best Norman.
I'll be honest with you, I don't know that it's truly sunken in or really hit me yet.
And for first-year head coach Cody Moles, he sees what this means for future athletes.
I think it inspires the younger girls in our community to, hey, I want to be just like them. We all know what's going on here, and for these girls to be able to do what they've done this year with all of that going on is truly incredible.
Next year, Celina will move up a class and play against 6A competition. But what they've already proven isn't just a moment. It's a dynasty.
In Celina, of course, football is big here.
In Celina.
Soccer gets their light, too.
I'm Richard Solomon.
And those are your headlines from North Texas.
Hello there, Mia Gradney here with a look at what's making headlines in Houston, starting with a mother who is sharing her story after sounding the alarm about an Uber driver who allegedly preyed on her teenage son. Investigators say the suspect targeted at least 2 minors, and they say there could be even more victims. Here's Maria Aguilera.
A rideshare turning into a warning for parents. According to Montgomery County officials, Josiah Carroll was arrested and charged with online solicitation of a minor and solicitation of prostitution of a minor.
It's just upsetting. No child should have to go through anything like that.
A mother of 5 who wants to remain anonymous says she signed her 16-year-old son for Uber Teen to keep track of his rides to work. But she says the driver asked for her son's phone number to connect outside the app for cheaper rides. But instead of offering discounts, court documents show Carroll allegedly solicited oral sex. The teen reported it on the app, told his mom, and she called police.
How does that make you feel as a mother?
In this day and age, unfortunately, it's not surprising.
Investigators accuse Carroll of doing something similar with a 13-year-old, allegedly texting that child unsolicited explicit photos.
The parents need to be more involved.
Sergeant Jerry Surratt with the Montgomery County Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force says communication is key.
Are there any tips for parents when it comes to situations like this?
Always tell the parents, the grandparents, aunts, uncles, that they are truly the front line of internet crimes against children. They need to be more proactive. What they're doing on the phone, what they're doing on computer.
This mother says her son speaking up made the difference.
It just was a bad situation. I'm glad my son was able to open his mouth and let me know that it made him uncomfortable rather than sweeping it on the rug. I'm also glad that I called and made the report.
That was Maria Aguilera. She also reports a spokesperson from Uber called this unacceptable, and the company removed the driver's access to the app once it was reported. Now to a couple whose car was suddenly swallowed by a sinkhole. They're speaking exclusively to KHOU 11 News. They say the hole suddenly opened up underneath them. Even bigger issues were then revealed underground. Jason Miles spoke with the couple and has their story.
County officials say a permanent solution here could take a while. Right now, crews are working on a temporary patch. For now, the couple caught in the hole yesterday plans to stay away. Area residents for more than 40 years, this crossroads is one Rex and Barbara Gressett have traveled through thousands of times, but their latest trip will be the most memorable.
Collapsed underneath us. All we heard was a big bang and like an explosion.
These are photos of their Nissan sedan inside a sinkhole that opened up right underneath them while on the way home from the grocery store. Their airbags were deployed as the car dipped into the hole.
The road just collapsed underneath us.
At the moment you happened to be at that spot?
Yeah, it was our luck, I guess.
This is Air 11 video after their car was pulled from the hole. They say a man in a pickup truck initially helped get them out.
The shock of it coming down and blowing into my face and everything, it was bad. It was like, what the heck happened now?
They showed us some of their bruises, but they're otherwise okay. And they plan to monitor repairs before their next journey to this intersection.
I mean, it was a bad thing to happen, but it could have been worse.
The Gressetts were taken to the ER just to be checked out. They say an EMS crew was kind enough to collect their groceries and deliver them to the hospital. In North Harris County, Jason Miles, KHOU 11 News.
Hundreds of vendors are now scrambling to find a new way to sell their merchandise. That's after a popular boutiques venue that has dozens of locations across the country suddenly closed this week. Aniela Ruiz is hearing from vendors who are trying to figure out what to do next.
It's the end of an era for small business owners at Painted Tree Boutiques, an indoor market that once gave hundreds of vendors a place to sell their products. But for entrepreneurs like Heather Meehan,
most of us got an email yesterday afternoon just saying that they were ceasing all sales and that they were not in operation anymore as of right then.
Vendors say the space offered a chance to turn passion into profit, paying rent for booths while the store handled the sales, taking a percentage in return.
Because I found more joy in being able to meet my customers, make stuff and put it out and see what sells.
For many, this wasn't just a side hustle.
This is a majority of my income, and to lose it overnight is definitely upsetting.
But she's not the only one. Others have inventory at multiple locations.
This is the third store I've been to today. Yeah, this is just inventory, and then I've got to come back and get my fixtures.
Some vendors tell me they have inventory at Painted Trees across the country, and they don't have the luxury to fly and pick it up.
Outside of Texas,
I am going to be donating it to Goodwill. I'm going to be donating it to Salvation Army.
A huge loss, she says.
I was kind of calculating it a little bit today, and it was going to be a little around 12 grand.
In a statement to CBS News, Paint a Tree Boutique says this decision has not come lightly, and it represents the end of a chapter that has meant everything to us. Now, as vendors rush to clear out their booths, these small business owners are finding ways to support each other and keep their small businesses going.
We're trying to see if we can maybe find a space we can rent out for like a shared space, maybe something like this. We're trying to do pop-ups in the meantime.
Anayeli Ruiz, KHOU 11 News.
So it's goodbye to the NRG Stadium name, as the home of the Houston Texans will soon return to Reliant Stadium. Go ahead and take a look. Our cameras were rolling as they were already in the process of changing out the signs to prep for the World Cup. NRG officials say 90% of their customers preferred the old name. And with the Texans' 25th anniversary on the horizon, officials believe returning to the old name was the right call.
Timing was great. The fact that the FIFA World Cup is here and stadiums are having to take their signage down during the FIFA World Cup, so this will be known as Houston Stadium. But when the World Cup is done, it will now become once again Reliant Stadium.
That's right. The return of the Reliant name and signage is set for August, just before the NFL season begins. So back to Reliant we go. What can I say, Houstonians? We are a little nostalgic. And with that, that's a wrap of your Houston headlines. I'm Mia Gradney.
For insurance you can trust, help is just a handshake away. Find your local agent at yourmediainsurance.com.
Hello, everybody. I'm meteorologist Jesse Hawila out of Dallas with WFAA. Let's take a look at the Texas headlines as we get to the end of this week and going into the weekend. Almost there. Friday, it's going to be warm and windy for much of the state. We'll be watching a cold front moving in. This will bring listen, enjoy the cooler weather while you can, because it will bring a nice cool down for much of the state, especially Saturday and Sunday. Enjoy it while you can, getting really close to those summer months. It's always nice to get the cool downs while we can. Some rain is possible south on Sunday, especially down toward San Antonio and even down toward Brownsville, Corpus. You'll have a chance for rain going into Sunday along the Texas coast. Now look at the cool down. Amarillo, good example. Friday, windy 85, and then all of a sudden 64. Saturday, Sunday, 74. Beautiful weather. Austin, little chance of rain there with the scattered thunderstorms really throughout the day on Saturday, 73 after a cool down from 90 on Friday. Corpus, there's that chance of rain again on Sunday, 75. Scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout the day for DFW. North Texas looks pretty wet with a high of 63 on Saturday, 73 Sunday. And then temperatures stay cooler as we get to the end of the weekend. So it will be a warm Friday. It's going to be windy too, and this is ahead of a pretty big storm system moving into the Central Plains. That's going to bring severe weather to parts of Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri. I'll show you that risk map here in just a second. We're kind of again on the south end of that. High temperatures respond with warm flow north. 85 DFW, 87 Lubbock, 85 Midland, 86 in Austin, 82 in Houston, and 83 in San Antonio. So if you look at the severe weather outlook, this again is for Friday. This is mainly Friday night. When the cold front starts to approach the area. There will still be the chance, though, Friday evening, especially out here toward the Concho Valley, then down toward Del Rio. There's going to be a chance for a pop-up or two, but the coverage is very low. However, there could be a couple of strong wind gusts when the cold front gets in late Friday night and overnight into early Saturday for areas like Wichita Falls. The greater severe weather risk is really Oklahoma City and north. Parts of Kansas, Missouri, Kansas City included in this. It's a level 3 enhanced risk. That's the better threat to see perhaps some damaging winds, a few tornadoes, and some very large hail. Here in Texas, we're kind of in that marginal, so it's a 1 to 5 scale, level 1 marginal risk, slight risk toward Wichita Falls. That's when the cold front gets in. But as that complex of storms migrates farther south, it will start to weaken. Let me show you what that looks like. So here we go. As we go through the afternoon of Friday, dry. I'll still be watching that chance for a pop-up thunderstorm or two out here south of Abilene, out into parts of the hill country, and then a little bit closer to San Angelo. That region of Texas could see a few isolated thunderstorms Friday. Then the cold front sweeps everything south from Oklahoma City. That'll bring a chance for some scattered rain and a few thunderstorms with the front. Okay, so this is 8 a.m. Dallas, Fort Worth area, North Texas, parts of East Texas, even down into the hill country, some scattered rain early Saturday morning. Some thunderstorms. I don't have severe weather in the forecast with that cold front. And as it moves farther to the southeast, it will bring the rain with it. So areas like Nacogdoches over to Austin, even down to Houston, Beaumont, going even into far east Texas, down into San Antonio and Corpus. You see the rain really lining up here overnight Saturday, getting into early Sunday morning. There's 4 a.m. That's again that chance of rain into Sunday is mainly along the coast. And then right up to the Big Bend, so into deep South Texas, up to the Big Bend near the Rio Grande. That's where we're going to have that chance of rain on Sunday. But cooler air, it's coming in. Look here, your forecast for West Texas. 91 in Lubbock on Friday, 66. That's a big drop on Saturday. Sunday, 72. Midland does the same thing, 90 on Friday. Then it's windy and cooler on Saturday, 67. Sunday, 68. In Central Texas, there's that chance of rain for Austin, Waco, Fredericksburg as the cold front moves through. Scattered showers and thunderstorms as you get into Saturday. High temperatures, much cooler on Saturday. 66 degrees in Waco, Fredericksburg, 66. And then a little bit of a rebound as you get to Sunday with highs at really nice, low to mid 70s. South Texas, hot. San Antonio, Laredo, 96. Corpus will be at 88. You see the cool down takes a little bit longer here, but that's a drop for Laredo, down to 61 degrees on Sunday. North Texas from the Metroplex, Weatherford, Denton included. You have that chance of rain again on Saturday with the cold front, highs in the low to mid 60s. Sunday, 73. East Texas, Houston, Beaumont, Tyler. The cool down, it's coming by the end of the weekend after that chance of rain again on Saturday. Then McAllen, Brownsville, and Mission. Windy and hot Friday. Still on the toasty side on Saturday. Then a nice cool down by the end of the weekend with that chance of rain and cloud cover with highs around 70 degrees.
For insurance you can trust, help is just a handshake away. Find your local agent at yourmediainsurance.com.
I'm Isis Romero, and this is the news in San Antonio. We're learning new details in a Northwest Side murder case. Investigators say they served a search warrant on Aaron Arrocha, where they found ammunition matching casings found at the scene. A witness told police that the suspect claimed Santa Muerte told him to shoot the victim, and so he did. Officers found the woman dead inside a home on Donaldson Avenue earlier this week. Police say a young woman was attacked at a local Dollar Tree. Simone Simpson has the image you need to see.
Have you seen her? Police say she clocked a Dollar Tree employee in the face and took off with stolen items in her bag. It was on Tuesday morning. Police say this woman was seen putting items in a black bag at the Dollar Tree on Marbach Road near Southwest Loop 410. When she was confronted by a 25-year-old employee at the front door, the woman allegedly put up a fight. Police say she punched that young woman in the face, leaving her with a black eye. And then the woman ran off with all the items she stole still in her bag. Crime Stoppers say she took off in a white Hyundai sedan. If you know her identity or location, you're asked to call police. Crime Stoppers may pay up to $5,000 for information leading to felony arrests in this crime. Call Crime Stoppers at 210-224-STOP. I'm Simone Simpson, reporting for KENS 5.
San Antonio police are hoping someone can help identify a woman who's accused of cashing counterfeit checks totaling almost $30,000. Investigators say it happened at several locations over multiple days in March. Sue Kalberg has some clues that might help catch the suspect.
An online database shows the case was filed here in the 9300 block of Huebner. Now, the woman who filed the report said she got her money back. So she didn't want to do an interview for television, but she told me emphatically, that woman stole and she needs to be caught. SAPD released 2 photos of their suspect, who appears to be a thin-frame, middle-aged woman wearing sunglasses and carrying a big, dark purse. But beyond that, they declined to offer specific details. The original report says on March 6th, one victim was notified that $29,882 was taken from her account, and that when she asked bank management what happened, she was told there were 3 separate checks and 2 in-person withdrawals. The victim says the signatures on those checks didn't match hers, but bank staff signed off on the withdrawals. While police released just 2 small images, one internet detective commented on the SAPD post with a wider view that shows the photo ID used during the transaction. If you can identify this woman, call Financial Crimes at 210-207-8211. In Northwest San Antonio, Sue Kalberg, KENS 5.
Many Fiesta events will be happening across town, and the carnival is something everyone can enjoy. Earl Stoudemire shows us what to expect.
Viva Fiesta, everyone. I am at the Alamodome grounds where the Fiesta Carnival is going to be a full spectacular. With me, I have one of the carnival organizers, Todd Robertson. Todd, can you just tell me what can people expect?
Yeah, so we have about 40 rides out here, and as you come in, there's going to be rides for anyone of all ages, family rides, kiddie rides, and extreme rides. Like right behind me, we have the Kraken, which making its comeback from 2 years ago, where it's this ride is a high intensity ride, really tall, one of 3 in the country.
Awesome. So tell me about some of the food. What's new on the menu? What do people need to get?
So to start off with, right behind me we have the Tunghulu stand, which is going to be, if you don't know what that is, it's candied fruit. So we offer strawberries, mandarins, and grapes, and they dip it in a candy. So it has that candy apple hard shell on the outside. We offer that. We have the viral fad Dubai chocolate strawberries. 10 out of 10 recommend for sure. And then we have Korean corn dogs, which have just been taking flight ever since it started.
What do people need to know when they get here for just riding the rides and how they can make these purchases?
So today until 5 o'clock, you can still buy pre-sale, and it's $28 plus fees. On site after 5 o'clock through the following week, Monday through Thursday, it's going to be $32 on site plus fees. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is going to be $43 plus fees.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Well, you heard it here yourself. You need to go to kens5.com, get your wristband in advance, save some money, and come out here and have some fun. It's going to be going on all 11 days of Fiesta, so be sure to come on out. From downtown, Earl Stoudemire, KENS 5.
And that's the news in San Antonio.
I'm Bailey Bates. Here are your headlines from Central Texas. A night out on 6th Street and a young woman's body found days later. Now Bell County investigators need your help. Investigators have now released never-before-seen videos of a person of interest. This is the last person seen with Tiara Strand before she went missing. April 16th was the last day Tiara was seen alive in 2023. Her body was found in a ditch just outside of Temple. Just days before, she was out with friends on Austin's 6th Street, but then got separated from her group. Where she was last seen is critical to this case. Take a look at your screen. The videos you're seeing show a man the Bell County Sheriff's Office says is a person of interest. They say he was seen earlier that night approaching multiple groups of women. They describe him as muscular with a short haircut, wearing earrings and military-style glasses, and possibly having a military background based on his movements. The Bell County Sheriff's Office says showing this to the public now is more important than ever, and Tiara's family still has hope.
As an investigator and have been working these crimes for a while, he displays predatory behavior. I'm not saying that he is a serial killer. That is not what I am saying. I am saying that he displays things to us that make us concerned for the safety of all citizens.
The video on your screen shows the person of interest walking in front of a Wendy's off of I-35 in Austin. Investigators say this is the last time Tier was seen alive, and that's why investigators are releasing images and videos to the public, hoping someone recognizes the man. They say even the smallest detail could be the missing piece in the case. If you know or recognize anything from the videos, call the Bell County Sheriff's Office tip line or Crime Stoppers. Meantime, a Temple congregation is celebrating the restoration of a precious piece of church history. 1 year ago, the church says someone attempted to break in, leaving the stained glass windows broken. Pastor Brady Wayne Fox says the timing of the restoration couldn't have been more meaningful. Our Sydney Walker has the story.
It's been nearly a year since shattered windows left shattered hearts at First Lutheran Church in Temple.
A beloved child of God, presumably in some distress, took out the windows in an attempt to break into the building, damaged our AC as well.
Brady Wayne Fox, the fresh new face at First Lutheran, said they were just wood when he arrived as the new pastor in September.
This one, we kind of lost the image of the infant Jesus as we were looking at him in Gethsemane, which was pretty sad.
Thousands in damage.
It was about $11,000. The beauty of God's good creation reflected through the stained glass shows us that God is indeed good. A long road, nearly a year before we were able to get them restored. Man, for a while there, we were quite worried.
Lost. Until now.
We are just so thankful that we were able to get the insurance to pay for it and restore it nearly to the exact same condition that it was.
It wasn't an easy process.
They had to essentially relearn how to make it this way.
Stained glass is somewhat of a lost art.
For a while there, we didn't know if, there were no more people who could do it this way.
And just before Easter.
It is not lost on me that the windows that were destroyed depict the life, death, and resurrection.
They rose again.
Thanks be to God, this is a really wonderful thing that happened, and after so much time and so much doubt, definitely a resurrection moment.
And while they haven't heard an update from police,
there was apparently somebody whose MO was similar to this.
They're practicing what they preach.
This is the place where we practice having grace for one another and forgiving.
Just wonderful news, and they do look great. Those are your headlines from Central Texas.
And here's your headlines from Southeast Texas. I'm Mark Armstrong. Former public information officer at Lamar State College Port Arthur was indicted Wednesday on a possession of child pornography charge. Jerry Dickert, he was initially arrested in October following a months-long investigation into suspicious files uploaded at Dickert's home in Port Arthur and at the college. Now, Wednesday's indictment, it claims that his charge was upgraded to a first-degree felony because the material showed a child younger than 10 years old. And a Nederland man who made headlines last week for collapsing in court was also indicted Wednesday. He's been charged with possession of child pornography and is accused of not only uploading images, but of discussing fantasies that involved harming infants. Now, he is being held on an $800,000 bond under strict conditions. The TCEQ, they've approved an agreement with the city of Port Neches Wednesday. It's after it was ordered to pay $240,000 for violations at its wastewater treatment facility. But instead of giving that money to the state, the city's going to have to invest almost twice that much into infrastructure upgrades to fix the issue there. State records show the city exceeded limits for water pollution coming out of the facility between August of 2022 and June of 2023. Regulators say that the violations, they could have exposed the public and environment to unsafe levels of contamination. The city has agreed to invest $490,000 into a supplemental environmental project there. It's known as Clarifier Rehabilitation, and it's going to focus on upgrading critical components at the wastewater facility. Well, it's been 6 months since voters in Beaumont passed a $58 million bond for drainage, street repairs, and citywide sidewalk initiative. Streets like Phelan, North Major, and College, they are some of the most problematic areas for pedestrians. 12 News reporter Ebony Coleman, she spoke to residents and the city about where the project stands now.
You might have 4 or 5 people because you have the apartments down here, and most of them don't have transportation.
Hillbig Road is just one of several streets in Beaumont without sidewalks. For residents like Tony Alexander, the safety concerns are impossible to miss.
Most of the time, people walk in the middle of the street. They don't respect cars. So they're going to walk, but they don't have nowhere else to really walk but on the street.
Now change may finally be on the way. Voters recently approved a $58 million bond with $10 million dedicated to a citywide sidewalk initiative.
The challenge with Hellbig is that it has an open ditch on one side and you have the railroad property on the other side. In order to build the sidewalk on the side that has the ditch, we would have to pipe in the ditch. Do you try to build it on the same side that the railroad is on? And then there's safety implications with that as well.
Ali Villarreal with the city says complications like this is why the city will be hiring a consultant, but they're still waiting for the bond money to be issued.
It's almost like you're taking out a mortgage. There's a lot of information that you have to put together and get everything in line. We are working with a bond consultant. We're working with a financial advisor. They are in the process of collecting all that information, then sending it back to our consultants that specialize in this, and then they will tell us when is the best time to take this out to the market to get the best rates.
Villarreal says that process puts the timeline for visible construction, like concrete being poured, at 9 to 12 months on roads, including Phelan, North Major Drive, College, and Hellbig Road.
This is the first general obligation bond that's been issued in over 40 years. And so there are a lot of moving parts, but we have clearly heard the citizens. They voted for us to do this work. We are committed to executing as efficiently as we can.
Meanwhile, on Hellbig Road, Alexander says his neighbors will have to continue to wait a little longer.
It's a needed thing. You should have sidewalks out here.
And that was Ebony Coleman reporting. The bond comes with an annual tax increase of $24.50 for every $100,000 of assessed property value. City officials say that increase is not going to happen all at once, but go up gradually over the years as projects are funded. And those were the headlines from Southeast Texas.
For insurance you can trust, help is just a handshake away. Find your local agent at yourmediainsurance.com.
I'm Mark Mullins in Austin. Governor Greg Abbott is threatening to withhold $2.5 million in grant funding from the city of Austin over a new APD policy. Under that new policy, APD officers have to notify a supervisor if they encounter someone with an ICE warrant who is not wanted for a crime. They can reach out to ICE to verify the warrant, but cannot detain someone for an unreasonable amount of time. And if federal agents ask officers to hold someone until ICE agents arrive, a watch command lieutenant has to review that request and decide whether the department has enough resources to do so. The governor's office is giving the city until April 23rd to respond to the letter and potentially change that APD policy. We've reached out to the city of Austin for a response to the governor's letter. We will let you know when we hear back. We're looking into what officials say was a highly unusual payout of more than $750,000 to a departing Austin police leader. Robin Henderson, a nearly 30-year veteran of the department, received the money in January through an agreement with the city officials to serve as interim police chief for a year between 2023 and 2024. A 5-page contract, which is now raising questions at City Hall, stipulates all payout monies Henderson would receive when she retired after serving as interim chief. The agreement was put in place with a previous city management and administration, and they say they wanted to give Henderson an incentive to stay amid historic department attrition and the need for a stable leader. Here's investigative reporter Tony Plahetsky.
The money former interim Austin Police Chief Robin Henderson received is spelled out in a 2023 contract, but required no council approval as an employment matter. It raised her pay to match that of former Police Chief Joe Chacon, but it also gave thousands of dollars in stipends to help Henderson recover lost wages when a contract between the city and police officers lapsed. Henderson's position as Chief of Staff was not included when the City Council approved a measure in 2023 that replenished most officers' pay. But stipend pay is not eligible for contributions to the Austin Police retirement system. So instead, under the deal, the city agreed to give Henderson the amount she would have contributed, plus projections of how the money would accrue over time. That equaled about $375,000, which was set to be paid when she retired. The city also agreed, upon Henderson's retirement, to pay her 800 hours of unused sick time on top of the 1,700 hours she was already set to receive through the city's contract with police officers. That total combined is $336,000. And finally, amid a dispute about her compensation, the city gave Henderson an additional $55,000. Add all of that up, and it comes out to her payout of $766,000.
That was Tony Plahetsky with that report. Austin police have arrested 2 people who they say are connected to a homicide in Northeast Austin. Last Wednesday, someone was shot and killed at an apartment complex near Dessau Road and Palmer Lane. Police now say they've arrested 19-year-old Chance Young for aggravated assault, and 17-year-old Drayvon Slaughter is charged with deadly conduct. Police say they also identified 3 juveniles tied to this case, and charges against them are pending. The sudden closure of a nationwide boutique chain is hitting small business owners hard here in Central Texas. Vendors say they're now scrambling to collect their products and find new places to sell them. Here's reporter Brianna Perez.
Packing up and forced to close up shop.
It's so sad to see everybody's dreams just kind of taken away like that.
That's the reality several vendors like Jennifer Gossabake at Painted Tree Boutique are facing after learning the company is closing all 60 of its locations nationwide.
We weren't expecting to have to come in on a Tuesday to come grab our things and be worried about whether or not the doors would be locked.
Company leaders blame unexpected changes in the retail landscape for the sudden closures. In a statement, Painted Tree wrote, quote, rising costs, shifting market conditions, and the evolving nature of how people shop have presented challenges that despite our best efforts and our community's unwavering support, we have not been able to overcome, end quote. In an email to vendors Tuesday, the company said shop owners have 10 days to pack up their inventory and clear out their space.
It's just so disheartening to see everybody removing their fixtures. They were so excited. Some of them had just set up last month to be able to start their journey.
For the past year, Gossabake has operated her small business, Magpie Gallery, inside of Painted Tree. As a law student, she says it's given her a creative outlet and helped her pay for school.
The thing I loved the most about Painted Tree was that you have a booth and there's a central checkout. So I can go to my full-time job, have all my stuff there, people can look.
Now she says she's out thousands of dollars in inventory with no place to sell it. An issue other vendors say they are also feeling.
This business has definitely been a huge financial support for myself and my family, paying for kids' activities, putting food on the table, and so this is a huge loss for myself, for shoppers in the community.
Vendors say around 150 small businesses are impacted at the Round Rock location alone. Some tell us they are still waiting to get paid for sales made in March. Many are unsure what comes next, but say they're holding on to hope.
I feel like small business owners are, we adapt and we are innovative, and so I know that we'll be looking for the next opportunity to try and continue to be successful.
In Round Rock, Brianna Bettis, KVUE News.
Austin Community College is laying out its plan for a new campus. The college system just bought new property to save time and money on its expansion. The new campus will be built in southeast Travis County, not far from the airport, and students could start there as soon as this summer. Reporter Daniel Gomez shows us the types of programs it will support and why ACC leaders say it's so needed right now.
Samantha Carroll welds her future one class at a time.
This is the only schooling that I've had where I've actually been able to just use my hands and use my mind and my creativity.
The classroom, though, could use a little more room.
There's a lot of kids here that I feel like need more one-on-one interaction.
Austin Community College's Executive Vice Chancellor of Finance and Administration agrees.
The Riverside has been at full capacity in these programs for actually decades.
Neil Vickers says planning for a new campus started more than a decade ago.
The way that we kind of got here, it's not a straight line.
The college landed on buying the Bergstrom Tech Center in southeast Austin.
Austin Community College bought this building for $130.5 million, and they say that they saved $100 million going this route instead of building a new campus from scratch.
Buying the tech center also allows for students to study there as early as this summer, which will help expand access to many of ACC's workforce training programs.
This is what the community college does. It's about providing those skills to this community.
A community of hardworking Texans like Carol who are ready to jump into the workforce with a high demand skill.
I'm going here for a 2-year degree, and I will come out with 2 degrees with maybe like a quarter amount of the expense.
And she hopes many others in the community can weld a solid future too. Daniel Gomez, KVUE News.
And that'll do it for us here in Austin. We hope you have a great day.
I'm Mike Gillespie in Corpus Christi, and here's a look at some of what's making news in South Texas. A concern is growing in Centon as the community rallies against the Corpus Christi Evangeline groundwater project. Residents with private wells say it could threaten their water supply, but they're hopeful that their voices can make a difference. Lydia Herrera has that story.
It's time that we, the people, stand up and voice our opinion. We know that this is not the answer.
Organizer Brent Casey says now more than ever, it's important for the folks in San Francisco County to come together and stand united.
I'm a rancher, and most of these people that showed up today are ranchers. Where we get our water at is at a 300-foot level, and we know the geographics around here, and if they go through with what they're wanting to do, everything that pulls from the bottom affects everything up top. We will be out of water.
The Evangeline groundwater project would pump water to Corpus Christi, but nearby residents worry it could lower groundwater levels and affect their water wells. Over 24 folks drove to Welder Park to protest. That included Robin Smith, who says she's worried about the impact the project will have on families who rely on well water every day.
Once that salt water is sucked up to the top, the crops aren't going to grow. You can't water your livestock. You can't water your people. And there's no, as far as I know, there's no oversight into the drilling of those wells. And I'd like answers, transparency, and honesty.
Ryan Maloney has already seen a drop in the level of his water well and believes the project could end up drying his well completely.
I mean, this deal that they made with Corpus, this pipeline, is basically going to kill us. I mean, they issued us a death sentence. I mean, water is a necessary element to survival, so the fact that they did that behind our backs without any public knowledge, it's an abomination.
Casey is hoping that Corpus Christi will abandon its project and concentrate on other options.
The answer is like what other cities are doing inland and around is a reverse osmosis. Desal is not the answer. RO is the way to go because we can pull the brine water that is down deep and supply it. We can regenerate it, recoup it, and turn it into drinking water, and it'll benefit everybody.
He hopes the message this group is sending will make a difference.
This is ground zero where it's taking place, and we need all the citizens to come out and back everybody here because it affects everyone, not just us.
Yeah, lots to keep an eye on there. Over at NAS Kingsville, the U.S. Navy's Blue Angels have arrived ahead of this weekend's Wings Over South Texas air show. The jet team touching down to a warm welcome, marking the start of one of the most anticipated events of the year for the Coastal Bend. It's a thrilling opportunity for the community to see one of the military's most elite flying teams up close.
There's a lot of people on the base that have been here for many years, and they're seasoned vets at executing an air show in an event of this magnitude. It's been a couple years since 2022 since we've had an air show, and the community and the team and all of our sponsors are excited to have them in town this weekend.
Yeah, whether you're local or making the trip, organizers say this show is one you won't want to miss. And that is a quick look at some of what's making news in South Texas.
Hi, I'm Brennan Gurley, and here's what's making headlines across East Texas. This week marks National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, a time to recognize the voices behind 911 calls. In East Texas, local leaders say investing in dispatcher training now is key to keeping communities safe as the region continues to grow. CBS 19's Jamie Hazard has the story.
Inside the Tyler Police Department, a new class of dispatchers is preparing for critical moments without ever leaving the call center. 14 trainees are working through an intensive academy, learning how to answer 911 calls and coordinate police, fire, and EMS across East Texas.
A lot of times telecommunicators are, the voice that's never heard, the person that's not ever seen.
The training goes far beyond answering phones. Dispatchers are taught how to guide callers through emergencies, from crashes to medical situations and mental health crisis, while quickly gathering information for first responders.
When you need police, you call 911, it's a dispatcher you talk to. Dispatch gets all that information, relays it to the officer, and they have to get enough information to make sure we're aware of what we're going to as we respond to a call.
As East Texas continues to grow, officials say staffing these positions is critical to public safety.
The more people available to answer those phone calls, the faster we're going to be able to get them services. That way the phone is not ringing and those calls aren't going unanswered.
Tyler's also expanding its role as a regional training hub, preparing dispatchers from across East Texas to handle real-world emergencies.
We know that the training we give them will prepare them to go out to their agencies and be able to be professional and dispatchers that can help you in an emergency.
Their voices may be behind the scenes, but their impact is felt across East Texas every day. In Tyler, for CBS 19, I'm Jamie Hazard.
For many East Texas families, grief doesn't end after the funeral, and one local organization is working to make sure no one has to go through it alone. The Tyler Rose Garden Center was filled with flowers and support today for the annual Hope Blooms event, benefiting the Hospice of East Texas. The brunch and boutique raises money for bereavement and chaplain services, programs that are offered free of charge to anyone in the community. That includes grief support for children through specialized camps. Organizers say events like this help keep those services available regardless of a family's ability to pay.
This year, Hope Blooms is raising funds for our bereavement and chaplain services. Those are available to anyone who has lost a loved one in the East Texas area, and it is always free of charge. So this event covers the cost of our chaplains and our mileage and our programs for our children. We have a Wings camp that's grief support for them.
The Hospice of East Texas has served the region for generations, and officials say today's turnout is a testament to the deep connection the community has to their mission. Early voting for the May election is just around the corner, and an East Texas native has created a tool to help voters navigate the ballot. Colton Edelman, a Tyler native and history student at Brown University, spent his free time creating a 27-page guide for Smith County voters. It covers everything from competitive city council races to local propositions, providing clear, nonpartisan information to help people understand what they're voting for.
Thinking about ways that we can more easily bring people into the process to where they don't feel overwhelmed by the amount of information, because sometimes it feels like it's built that way, like it's purposely built to be confusing, to stop people from engaging.
Edelman encourages voters to review his guide before heading to the polls. You can find that over on our website, cbs19.tv. Early voting starts April 20th and runs through April 28th with Election Day on May 2nd. And that's a wrap of your East Texas headlines for today. I'm Brennan Gurley.
Texas News Now is sponsored by Germania Insurance.
For insurance you can trust, Help is just a handshake away. Find your local agent at yourmediainsurance.com.